Nicholas, and today I will be speaking with David De Leon and Eric Avis about the Panama Canal expansion. The reason why we are credible as Penn State students talking about this topic is because we will all be moving into the workforce, and it's important for us to understand United States relations on international business. The creation of the Panama Canal has saved traders a lot of time and money. Before it was built, traders had to sail all the way around South America. Since its creation, the authority over the canal has gone through several changes, and it is currently being expanded. Many different countries have invested their money into this expansion because not only does the canal improve efficiency for importing and exporting goods, but in the long run, they will actually be saving money. But before being informed about the current state of the Panama Canal, its history and creation should also be taken into account. The Spanish were the ones who had actually come up with the original idea in 1534. Finally, in 1850, the idea was revisited when the French company, led by Ferdinand Lesseps, received permission from the Colombian government to build a canal. This was during the time that the Isthmus of Panama was under Colombian control. In 1884, construction finally began, and on August 15, 1914, it was used for the first time. On September 7, 1977, the Trujillo-Carter Treaty was created, which set in motion handing the canal over to Panamanian control. And finally, in 2007, they began working on the expansion.
To understand the overall authority of who controls the Panama Canal, you may be able to date back to August 15, 1914. At this time period, the United States was transcendent above other countries in three different ways. First, the canal's operations, the overall potential, and thirdly, the economic value, which includes international trade, which was significant. Geographically, the Panama Canal cuts through Panama, the isthmus connecting the North American continent to the South American continent, and as a result, that opens routes from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean, and of course vice versa. On September 7, 1977, our President Jimmy Carter signed the Trujillo-Carter Treaty, which gave control of the Panama over to the Panamanian government. But even though they might have technical control and authority over this Panama Canal, the deep-rooted control that the United States has, you might just say they have a little bit more authority or control.
The Panama Canal itself wasn't the only location that was needing to be expanded. As other countries are going to see an increase in size of ships that will be visiting their ports, they must also keep up with the game and increase their size in ports. East Coast and Gulf Coast ports in the United States deepen their channels down to depths of up to 50 feet. The deeper, wider channels are going to mean larger ships. Roadway infrastructure needs to be expanded upon in order to deal with the increased cargo flow that they'll be seeing over the land in order to get to those port cities. Expansion in the U.S. ports allows ships that are up to 3 times greater now to visit those same ports. Larger ships means more items shipped, and those more items shipped in one mass movement is going to equal more profit for the United States and every other country that ships through the Panama Canal. The expansion of the Panama Canal is going to mean potential savings from all the countries involved. Increased savings means the U.S. is making a worthy investment into the expansion of the Panama Canal. All the countries who ship items and cargo through the canal, regardless of money that they put in for the initial expansion, are going to see some sort of profit in the form of savings while shipping their exports through the Panama Canal. Savings will not be immediate, but the effects will be felt all the way from the producers down to the consumers and even the shippers in between. Consumers saving money is great because that money that they're saving is going to eventually be put back into the United States economy. East Coast ports are going to see lower shipping rates and more money back into savings. That's just based off the volume that goes through the East Coast ports. Gulf Coast ports, however, have more shallow waters around their ports, which inhibits those larger ships from going into their ports. Also, the East Coast ports also ship greater quantities of cargo, which in turn gives them a larger sum of savings. The more items you ship in mass movements is going to equal more savings with the expansion of the Panama Canal. Other reasons shipping costs can be decreased is directly tied to the drop in gas prices. Fuel costs can account for almost half of the shipping costs for cargo. This form of savings is always fluctuating due to the constant rise and drop in gas prices. This is important because large amounts of imported and exported goods that come through the Panama Canal are from the United States. 3 out of 10 of our bushels of produce that are sent through the Panama are exported through the Panama Canal. That's almost 1 in 3. The U.S. donated $800 million for the expansion of the Panama Canal, almost 1/5 of the total cost. Currently, the total cost has gone over $5.3 billion.
A huge factor of the Panama Canal is to understand the progress and where we're at right now with that project. Since September 2007, the Panama Canal expansion has moved towards completion. Today, the expansion is not done, however. There's 7 overall categories of completion, the biggest one being the overall progress, which is at that 93.1%. Some subcategories include the Gatun Lake and Calibro Cut dredging, which is 94%, the Pacific Access Channel, which is at 96.2%, the overall design and construction of the third set of locks, which is at 92%, both the categories Pacific Entrance dredging and the Atlantic Entrance dredging, which is at either end of the canal. Both those are actually at 100% completion. And then of course raising the Gatun Lake's maximum operating level, that's at 95%. So with all of those subcategories and that overall progress category at 93.1%, each piece is near or has reached completion. And the projected year that this project is expected to be done is 2016, so look forward to that date.
Even though the Panama Canal has improved trade between countries, it has a negative environmental impact that follows. The main water source is the Gatun Lake, which is not a natural lake and was actually man-made in order to accommodate the amount of water needed for the canal to function. With each use, 55 million gallons of water is drained, and this water is only replenished during the rain season. The amount of forestation surrounding the canal has decreased by 47% since 1974. Even though there was a project for reforestation, research shows that only 37% of the surrounding forested area increases water flow, and that the reforestation of the entire area would actually hinder it.
Dr. Escada,
Katie Zambanini,
And fellow classmates,
I hope you're well informed about the Panama Canal expansion project, and I hope you could apply this to your own knowledge and learn about international business.